Keyshawn obviously made the play at the end of the Bears game here, gave up one at the end. He said, he's glad to have a third crack at it. Knowing him the way you do, how do you think he comes out and plays on Saturday?
I think he'll play a great game. I know he's super locked in. I know, he's kind of hero in that first game, and I know that meant a lot to him, especially in the rivalry. And I know he probably wishes he had that last play of regulation back. But that's life as a corner in this league. But I'm excited for him. He's a competitor. He's a guy who's kind of always been an underdog. He's kind of always been, a guy that's had to work his way up to get where he's been. And just knowing him and what he's been through and what he's made of, and if I had to put money on it, I'd say he's going to have a pretty good game. And I believe in him, and I have total confidence in him. And I'm excited for him to get back out there on that field and play again.
Jeff, I asked you about him the week after that game, and you said you bet on him, but X said something that he knows Keyshawn better than anyone, that he holds on to stuff too long. Mm-hmm. Did you see him go through a process to being back to being the confident guy that we all know?
Yeah. I think it took time during that week, but I think as soon as you get back on the field, just like anybody else, sometimes it takes some time. You get back on the field and then you have to let it go. I think that's easier said than done. And I've talked to you guys about this before. I think that's also our responsibility as coaches and his teammates. And I think belief is a very powerful thing. I think giving a player confidence is a very powerful thing. And those are through conversations, and those are through showing tape of what he did well and what he can do well and what he will continue to do well. And I think that's all part of our job, to pick each other up. It's just like if a coach is having a tough day or a tough week, or a unit is, you got to pick that group up. And then I take a lot of pride in that, and I think his teammates do too. So I think it was really cool for Keyshawn last week when we rested our starters to say that I want to start in this game. I respect him a lot for that. I think it says a lot about him and him wanting to go out there and play football. So I think that's where his mind is right now, and I think he's excited for this.
What did you think of the way Lee Diggs performed Sunday, and how comfortable would you be putting him back in there?
Yeah, we talked about, he had a wristband on, so we kind of had some calls there to help him out. I think the safeties, those young guys, did a good job of communicating the calls. I think when he first got out there, he was kind of playing a little loose and playing a little off the ball, but you could see the more comfortable he got, the more aggressive he was. It was one of the first third downs of the game. He was on the right side, and we sent a pressure, and he broke the ball up against Jefferson. I thought he was going to pick it off. So I was really pleased with that play. Probably even more so, I liked his physicality. He got off blocks on a screen, and he made the play on one down our right sideline. I think it was Justin again, and he took a pretty violent punch because he's got really good length. So I thought, for being here for really one practice, I thought he did a really nice job. It's cool to see the last couple of days how he's integrated with our players, how he's been in meetings. And overall, I just think he has more confidence right now in our scheme. So I'd be very comfortable to play him.
Is it unusual how he, his stance, like on that third down play you're talking about, where he's so leveraged to the, inside? Is that how he plays? Or?
No, that's part of just the coverage we were playing on that side of the field.
Because he did that a couple times. Is that how you like the guys to play it, or does he get his choice of how to play it?
Well, I want guys to be comfortable in their stances, but for certain coverages, I think there's certain leverages you need to play, whether you have your inside foot, your outside foot up, whether you're in man or zone, whether you're playing a cloud. So based on, all those things, I think you'll see him, getting a variety of different stances. But certainly I want him to be comfortable. It's not like we've had a lot of individual time with him to work with him. We're just trying to get up in the scheme, and the biggest thing I keep talking to him about is, I want him to try to learn it as quickly as he can, because when he gets out there, I don't want him thinking. I want him to play fast and not hesitate, because I think when players think and they try to overdo it, it doesn't usually go very well.
How much can a guy learn in a week or a week and a half, as far as, any calls you make on the field, any changes, how big the playbook is for him? How much would you have to limit things if he ends up playing for you?
We won't have to limit him. I think with now with Xavier and Evan and Bull being back there, I think those guys can really help him out and kind of guide him if he doesn't know something and communicate. And that might put a little more pressure on those safeties, but they're really smart safeties, and it's kind of like having a coach and another voice out there to help him. So when he does play, there will not be a limit in the playbook.
Has he Had any picks in practice?
Has he had any picks in practice?
Today would have been on the day.
No, I don't know if he had any opportunities to have any picks in practice. I see his ball skills, though, when we do individual. He's got a lot of length and can go up and get it. So hopefully we'll see a couple down the road here.
Jeff, you had a couple of really good first halves against the Bears.
Yeah.
And then second half was a little bit different. Were there adjustments they made that made a difference? Are there things you have to think ahead of, you know, when you have a good half like that, what their adjustments are going to be?
I think we had a good 59 minutes in the last game that we played him, truthfully. You know, but I give them credit. After they got the onside kick, they went down and scored, and then they hit the big play. So I thought we had a good game plan. I thought our guys executed. I thought we executed in that Bears game for the majority of the game at a really high level. I thought we played physical. I thought we stopped the run. I think the third down, we were extremely efficient, getting pressure on the quarterback. And I thought our guys did a good job. But to answer your question, that's not good enough, right? I said 59 minutes. I didn't say 60. We have to finish for 60 minutes. And that's what it's going to take to beat the Bears. And that's what it's going to take to win a playoff game. So whatever we have to do, whatever adjustments we have to make throughout the game, we got to finish it. We got to start fast, but we need to finish. And clearly we didn't do a good enough job the last time we played them.
Jeff, you mentioned the run defense. You guys have done as good as anybody against these guys specifically, who are pretty damn good. We know what happened against Baltimore. Where do you think you are in kind of taking that lesson and applying it now when it's win or go home?
Yeah, I think ultimately we'll have to wait to answer that question for you, because like most people, I see better than I hear, right? So I think we're going to have to go out and prove it. I thought our young guys did a really good job against the Viking starters. I think that's one thing I think, you know, we should kind of acknowledge and give them credit. I mean, as a coach, this season we've had a lot of good things happen. We've played really good defense for a majority of the season. And that one of my most proud moments was watching those young guys get their opportunity against a really good Vikings offense with very talented players and their starters, and watching how hard they played and holding those guys to 16 points. Now, we didn't win, I get it, so it's not good enough. But to see those players sitting in the locker room after the game, we had some guys in tears knowing that they just had an opportunity to play in an NFL game. That was a proud moment, like a really cool moment as a coach. It's one of the reasons you do this, right? So I just want to acknowledge and give those guys credit, how hard they worked, how hard our leaders worked to help get them in those positions, and then the way they went out and put it all out there. Just a really cool moment, and I'm proud of those guys on defense. Yeah, I mean, I think we played the run pretty well for a majority of the year. Obviously, we talked about the Baltimore game. It starts with lining up and doing our jobs consistently, which we failed to do that night. You know, but I'm excited to get another shot at Chicago and do it. They have a very explosive run group with Monangai and Swift, and the quarterback obviously can run the ball. I think their O-line's really good, and they're one of the best run offenses in the NFL. So we're going to have to show it, but I don't want to talk about it. I want to go do it, and that's been our whole mentality for the week.
So along those lines, how do you stop some of those getting bled for yards, like you hit him at 2 and they gain 5? What's the key to limiting some of that?
Pad level, get low, get off blocks, put your shoulder pad through a guy's sternum, wrap up and run your feet and get multiple people to the ball. And that's what we're going to have to do. The one thing I'll say is we've played them really physical the last 2 times, and it needs to take a step up. And that's what I would anticipate with these guys.
We've talked a bunch about Rashawn in here, and I understand it's more than sacks. Are you satisfied with what you've gotten from him since Micah went down?
I mean, I think there's things that I'm satisfied with, and there's things we want to get better at. You know, we talked this week again, and there's things he wants to get better at, and then there's some things that he's doing really well. To make a run in the playoffs, you know, we're going to need more out of everybody, and I think he would tell you the same thing. Whether that's pass rush, whether it's setting edges, whether it's getting off blocks and making plays, he needs to really take a step as a leader of our team as we get into the playoffs, along with the rest of the guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing him do that.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, did Barron or Colin earn themselves playoff snaps with some of the things they did in Minnesota?
Yeah, I think I thought Barron and Oliver did a nice job. I thought it was really, you know, you talk about some of those guys that it was kind of so inspiring watching a guy like Colin Oliver, who hasn't played really. I mean, looking back, I think he played 1 game his senior year in college because he got hurt, maybe 2 games, maybe got hurt in the second game. but just watching him run around and just give everything he had, I think it shows a very promising future, whether that's this week or down the road. And then Barron's been a consistent guy. He's been really reliable. He does everything we ask him to do, and he continues to show up, right? We got a lot of guys that you can only dress so many, but I certainly think what he did puts him in consideration for playing in the playoffs, yeah.
To Jason's question about the run defense, and you talked about the young guys playing so well against Minnesota. What did you think of Stackhouse and Ford, and can those guys give you some help too?
Yeah, I think they can. Ford's another guy. We talk about Diggs kind of just getting here. Ford just walked in the door too, with all the injuries that we've had and then losing Riley. We bring in Ford, and within a couple days, he's out there playing too. And that's just not like, hey, just line up and take on double teams. I mean, he's got to learn where to line up, what techniques to play, when he's in movement, when he's in stunts, how we rush. And I thought he did a really good job. He gives us a big guy. I thought he played really hard and physical, probably with a higher motor than I remembered when he was here. And again, I think it's a guy who kind of was given an opportunity, and he wanted to make the most of it. Stack, the same thing. Stack was a guy who played early on for us and then, hit a little bit of a wall there, and I think we got him back now. Young player with a lot of talent, but we're going to need those guys for sure. We're thin. We're very thin in the middle right now. So we need those guys to step up, and I think those two guys help give us a chance.
Jeff, you go, Jeff.
You guys are okay, both of you, so whoever wants to go first.
I'll defer to Jason here.
Oh, was it me? Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, it was.
You didn't have Evan in Chicago. You didn't have Evan in Chicago in Week 16. He possibly could have played a role in maybe getting you guys a win instead of a loss. But how eager has he been this week to get back, especially against the Bears? And two, what kind of an impact will he have against Caleb Williams and the Bears when he does?
Yeah, I think Evan, if you take a look at our defense throughout this year, I think Evan has been extremely consistent and played at a very, very high level, game after game. Obviously, we wish we had him out there for that game, but we didn't. Another guy who got some reps last week, kind of after getting injured in the game, but I know he's excited for it. It'll be his second crack in the playoffs, and, I think he's ready to roll.
Matt called him a second coach on the field. What's
Yeah.
the growth been like for him since he came in as a rookie?
It's just the maturity, the knowledge, the confidence. You can just see he's starting to see the game. He plays it so fast. He's really instinctual. He knows the calls. He knows the defense. He's got a really good feel for what other teams are trying to do. He calls out a lot of plays. He studies it down in distances. He studies the formation tendencies. So he's constantly talking with X. I think it's like having two coaches on the field, which is really, really helpful. But I think there's a big jump from year one to year two, and I think he took it. And I think he's going to eventually, I think people will see that he'll be one of the best safeties in this league.
When did you notice that in him? Because it sure seemed like he came in as a rookie and was ahead of his draft stock and all that. When did you notice that settled in for him?
I would say towards the end of last year. I just think the confidence, the playing experience, and then as he got going in OTAs and really got another, kind of took a deep breath and then got back into it, you noticed it going in training camp, and then just how confident he's been. Because you can see he triggers so much faster this year. There's times when it looks like he might be blitzing, but he's not. His ability to read and react and diagnose things it's very quick, and he can get going and make those plays. But I would say he's had it. You can kind of see it on his college film, the way he played. He was one of our favorite guys, watching him when he was at Oregon. And like I said, I think he'll continue to take those steps.
You started by mentioning just the uncertainty for this time of year. We might talk to you next week. We might not. Your name has been pretty popular as a potential head coaching candidate for this cycle. We all have career goals. What would that opportunity mean to you? And after 2 years here, where do you feel like you are in terms of being ready for that?
Well, I'll tell you this. It's hearing my name out there, that's obviously extremely flattering and very humbling, right? And I think when you work for an organization like the Packers and have a head coach like Matt and players like we do and a defensive staff like we do, I'm just honored to be in those. I think right now with all that stuff, it can be a distraction, so I'm trying to lock in on these playoffs and do the best that we can. And then whenever that time comes, we'll figure it out and go from there. But extremely honored and flattered, just to be mentioned, and you asked me that question. But for right now, this is the Bears. I mean, this is one of the biggest rivalries in all of football, one that I have watched for a very long time. Did not end the way we wanted to the last time we played there. So I am going to do everything in my power to focus on every minute that I have to give this organization and our players everything I got to go win this game.
Jeff, can I ask you that same question in a different way?
You can ask me any question you like, because even if I said no, you would.
Fair.
And you always phrase it like that, so you set yourself up for me. But I can't wait to see how you ask the same question differently.
Me too.
Okay, well, here we go. You don't know what the future holds, and neither do I. But to think about where you were a couple of years ago, you're coaching your own college program. What have these 2 years meant to you? And what do you think about what you've put together with this group, and just what has it been like for you? Because it seems that you're pretty damn passionate about this group that you've got.
Yeah, I love this group. I love being part of the Green Bay Packers, and I never take that for granted every day when I drive in and I get to see Lambeau Field, honestly. I mean, I'm a guy who started coaching Division III football and worked my way up to be a college head coach, and now I'm part of the greatest NFL organization that there is, getting to call the plays. So that is so humbling to me. I love the defensive players that we coach. Like, I love these guys, and I love the staff, and I love working for Matt. And I never take that for granted, not 1 second, which is why when I answer that question, I don't think it'd be fair to anybody in here, anybody a part of this, for me not to give everything I have for this game. Would one day I like to be a head coach again? Absolutely, for sure. But like, just even answering this question for you right now, I just am so grateful and so happy to be here and be part of this. And I've just loved coming to work every single day here. Like, even joking with you guys, like, I know sometimes it's hard and you ask hard questions, but you guys have been incredible. And I mean that. And it's not like that everywhere. So I thank you guys for that. Everything that I have been a part of here, from Goody to Ed to Matt, it's just been like, what a blessing to be here for me and my family. So I appreciate that. And we are not going to be done. So I will see you guys next week.